Now, Ali Bongo was sitting for fireside chat at the Side Business School in Oxford University in October 2018. This video is now trending again because, of course, what's happening in Gabon. He was asked a question about term limits in Africa. So here's the question.
My question relates to the question of democracy within your own country and on our continent more generally. Being at an institution of educational excellence, one of the core theses of democracy is that term limits are one of the key ingredients to ensuring that a democracy thrives. And that is a principle that is seen within the Constitutive Act of the African Union, for example. And yet, for all the progressive reforms that you've introduced economically, some of the, in my view, regressive reforms is to remove term limits for presidents in your country. Do you agree with the thesis? If so, why did you introduce the term limits?
What you say, it all sounds nice. But it doesn't work like that. First thing, I did not remove term limits. I did not. And we don't have term limits. Term limits, I would say, frankly, that sounds sexy, but it ain't working. Because when you go into your second term, you no longer have any authority because people know that you're leaving. And your second term is a completely loss, because it starts problems for your succession, and people within your own party, and they start, fighting, and no one listens to you anymore. And we've discussed that, with various African leaders, and they all conclude to the same. Now, why is it still applied? It's because some African leaders think that, it's going to please you guys here. That's why they do it. But they really don't believe in it, because on the ground, they see the difficulty, And so I don't believe that, term limits, improve, democracy. I don't believe in that, and we've seen that, in many cases in Africa. That's not really. You need a certain time to apply your program. And that's not done, in a country where you have term limits. For instance, once you're elected, if you're completely new, the first 2 years are going to be kind of bumpy for you to apply, and start applying your policy. And then as you start implementing, you have to think of your re-election. And that means that if you have tough measures,
Words on marble by President Ali Bongo in 2018. 5 years, or how many years later? Yeah, 5 years later. We are going back, you're revisiting.
I'm Ali Bongo Ondimba, President of Gabon. And I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world, to tell them to make noise, For the people here have arrested me and my family. My son is somewhere, my wife is in another place, and I'm at the residence. Right now,